Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news now, Lions fans. If you've been paying close attention to the latest developments in the team, you already know that the quarterback position remains one of the hottest topics heading into the regular season. And this isn't just idle chatter, it's about the future of the franchise, about how the Lions are shaping up to make a real push in 2024. Recently, we heard from head coach Dan Campbell himself, and his comments about Hendon Hooker's preseason finale have set the tone for what might be a critical decision looming just around the corner. And folks, if you thought the Lions' quarterback situation was settled, think again. There's still a lot of debate, a lot of evaluation happening behind the scenes, and it all hinges on what we saw, or didn't see, in that final preseason game against the Houston Texans. So, what exactly happened in that game? Well, Hendon Hooker, the second-year quarterback trying to carve out his spot on the roster, had a performance that honestly left some questions. He went 6 for 11 passing for 70 yards, threw an interception, and added a 25-yard scramble to his stat line. It wasn't a terrible showing, but it certainly wasn't enough to silence the critics or to give the coaching staff that absolute confidence they need to make a definitive call. Campbell, after the game, was pretty candid about it. He admitted that he was hoping for a little more from Hooker, that he wanted to see that spark, that consistency, especially from a player who's been working hard to earn a spot. And to be fair, Campbell pointed out that context matters, that most of Hooker's reps came with the third-string offense, which makes it harder to establish rhythm and timing. That's an important point, because it underscores the complexity of these preseason evaluations. You see, Hendon Hooker has shown flashes of talent during practice and in earlier preseason games. He's got the athleticism, the arm strength, and the potential to develop into a starting quarterback someday. But at the same time, that performance in Houston, with 2 sacks taken and missed opportunities to move the chains, raises questions. The coaching staff, led by Dan Campbell and general manager Brad Holmes, is under intense scrutiny because they're facing a difficult decision. Do they keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster, which would mean keeping Hendon Hooker as a developmental project? Or do they prioritize depth elsewhere, perhaps cutting ties with Hooker and going with Goff and Kyle Allen as their 2 main options? And this decision is more critical than many fans realize. It's about balancing the future with the present. Goff, of course, remains the unquestioned starter. He's coming off a solid season, leading the Lions to a playoff appearance, and showing that he can still be a franchise quarterback. Kyle Allen, meanwhile, has impressed during the preseason, throwing for 335 yards and 4 touchdowns. That kind of performance from Allen has fueled speculation that the Lions might see him as a valuable backup, someone who can step in if Goff needs a breather or if injuries occur. But Hendon Hooker's situation is different. Despite his struggles in the final preseason outing, the young quarterback has expressed confidence that he's shown enough to earn a spot on the roster. He believes in his talent, in his potential to grow, and in his ability to contribute down the line. But as we all know, in the NFL, the decisions aren't just about talent and confidence. They're about what the coaching staff perceives as the best move for the team's success in the upcoming season. With the roster cut deadline looming on Tuesday, Campbell and Holmes are working against the clock to make that final call. The question is, will they see enough growth and promise in Hendon Hooker to keep him around as a developmental piece? Or will they decide that his margin for error just isn't narrow enough, and that they need to allocate that roster spot to a player who can contribute immediately in other areas? It's a tough call, one that could define the Lions' season. Now, let's take a broader look at the Lions' current situation. The team has been building steadily over the past few seasons, and last year's playoff appearance was a testament to their progress. Goff led a high-powered offense, with weapons like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the team's defense has also improved significantly. Still, the quarterback position remains a topic of intense discussion among fans and analysts alike. The Lions clearly see Goff as their guy for now, But they also recognize the importance of developing a young quarterback like Hendon Hooker, especially considering his talent and the potential upside if he can reach his ceiling. And let's not forget, the Lions have a history of making bold moves when it comes to roster decisions. Brad Holmes, their GM, isn't shy about making tough calls to maximize the team's chances of success. This offseason, the team invested heavily in building a competitive roster with key additions on defense and a solid core on offense. Their goal: to finally break through that playoff barrier and make a real run at the Super Bowl. And part of that strategy involves ensuring they have the right quarterback depth, someone who can step in and keep the offense rolling if Goff needs a break, or if unforeseen circumstances happen during the season. This is where Hendon Hooker's situation gets really interesting. The Lions' coaching staff has always valued development and patience, but they also understand that roster spots are precious commodities. Every decision they make now could have ripple effects throughout the season. If they keep Hooker, they're betting on his long-term potential, trusting that with more reps in coaching, he can become a viable starter someday. But if they cut him, they're betting that Kyle Allen and Jared Goff can cover all their bases now, and that they can look to the draft or other avenues for future quarterback help. The debate is fierce among Lions fans. Some see Hooker's talent and believe he deserves a chance to develop behind Goff, especially considering his youth and the fact that he's coming off a major injury last year, which might explain some of his preseason struggles. Others argue that the Lions need to prioritize immediate depth and that the risk of carrying a developmental quarterback who might not see much game action in the regular season isn't worth it. But what's clear is that Campbell and Holmes are weighing all these factors carefully. They're looking at every snap, every play, trying to gauge who can help the team win now and in the future. Meanwhile, the coaching staff is also evaluating the rest of the roster, making sure that every position, every player, aligns with their vision for 2024. The Lions are on the cusp of something special, and these roster decisions are critical. They're not just about filling spots, they're about shaping the identity of the team for years to come. And for Lions fans, it's an exciting yet nerve-wracking time. You want to see your team succeed, but you also understand that building a winner takes patience, strategy, and sometimes tough choices. As we look ahead to Tuesday's deadline, it's worth noting how much has been already accomplished. The Lions have assembled a talented roster, one that's capable of competing at the highest levels. But the quarterback position, as always, remains the key to unlocking their full potential. Jared Goff has proven he can lead, but the future depends on whether Hendon Hooker can develop into that next-level player. The coaching staff's decision will reflect their belief in his development and their vision for the team's future. And that's what makes this story so compelling for us Lions fans. We're not just watching another preseason game, we're witnessing a pivotal moment in our team's journey. Every decision made now could influence how the Lions perform in the coming months, whether they make a deep playoff run or face setbacks due to uncertainty at the quarterback position. It's a story of hope, of potential, and of tough choices, just like any great team's journey towards glory. So, as we continue to analyze and discuss this situation, remember that the Lions are not just building a team for this season. They're laying the groundwork for a future where Detroit can contend for championships year after year. And Hendon Hooker's fate is a big part of that puzzle. Whether he'll be part of that future, or if the Lions will look elsewhere, remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, the passion, the effort, and the strategic thinking behind every move are what make this team so special. Lions fans, stay tuned, because we're just getting started on what promises to be an exciting ride ahead. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you believe Hendon Hooker deserves a spot on the roster? Or do you think the Lions should prioritize immediate depth and go with Jared Goff and Kyle Allen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Lions as a franchise. Remember, this isn't just about one preseason game or one decision. It's about the future of our team, the dreams of making a deep playoff run, and the hope of finally reaching that promised land of a Super Bowl victory. I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and insights into the Detroit Lions. So stay tuned and keep the Lions' spirit alive. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see what the upcoming season holds for our beloved team. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Lions!